Ladies and gentlemen, the control freak authoritarians with parents' issues are back. The NHS bosses, specifically the NHS Confederation, the CEO, Matthew Taylor, is back on TV on BBC News to tell us that we need a 2022 lockdown. We need more long-term restrictions. We need face snappies. We need to bring back mass testing, and basically because we don't have money, let's just get it from the working classes, the plumbers, the taxi drivers, to pay for the taxes so that we could give more free testing to the Islington hippies. This is the world that we live in. Watch this.
So we have a situation in our health service now which is as bad as any winter, even though we're approaching Easter. And it's really important that we understand that this is happening. In our view, we do not have a living with COVID plan. We have a living without restrictions ideology, which is different. We need to put in place the measures that are necessary to try to alleviate the pressures on our health service while this virus continues to...
Whoa. Living with restrictions ideology. Okay. When did actual bureaucrats and advisors and civil servants turn into decision makers and policy makers? There was a time when these people used to implement the policies of politicians. That was how the country used to be run. And it was normal. And it was okay. Ish. But now, we now have the heads of the unions and organizations, and there are so many different organizations that are linked to the NHS, by the way. I have no idea why. And they've got so many different labels, it's quite difficult to keep up. And every day we got new ones coming up. And then they go out there with their uniforms, which is against their own rules, and randomly start dancing on the street because they need more money. And you wonder why. There is resistance. And the whole of the brand, NHS brand, is now undermined. And this is the time when people are finally waking up that the model is not working. The reason we say we need to change it is because we're not just doing it for the sake of the patients or the taxpayers. We're actually doing it in the interest of the good doctors and nurses. Now, there is resistance. And luckily, resistance coming from the Prime Minister. So, well done, Boris, for once. He's rejecting these lockdown calls and restriction calls despite the pressure and despite the brainwashing that's been promoted by the mainstream media, your BBCs and Skies and Channel 4s and all the usual ones. And until now, this tactic used to work. And Boris used to just cave in. And right now, he can't do that. Considering his whole team in Downing Street broke the rules. So it's quite difficult to get people to follow any of this. And also, it's not just because of the cake gate or suitcase of booze scandals. It's actually because he knows that there is no point. It's 2022. We are going to get close. This is halfway through now. It's going to be 2023 soon. And we have to actually live with it. It's not an ideology. It's just how humans used to live until now, until 2020. And it goes back to people like Boris have a responsibility to fight back and resist against this new mentality that advisors and trade unions and civil servants and all these people who should just be doing what the policy says, resist that they are becoming the policymakers. We have to stop that. We have, in the interest of the country and the future, if we're going to be fighting against the Chinese Communist Party or WF or Joe Biden's sleepy, I don't know what the hell he's doing in the White House, we have to decide something for ourselves and for our country. And we're going to come back because we're going to be giving you more updates on the Ukraine brief, exactly on what's going on with Putin and what's going on with the Communist Party in China. So subscribe to the channel. I'm my TC and we are the media.